Hey guys, welcome to HKC 217 podcast powered by All Seasons Energy. And this episode is sponsored by Helmet City, and we just want to say a massive thanks to them for coming and dropping off my Rafa 11 carbon edition. So it's been amazing using that at Whilton Mill, and they're part of the RD Racing support things.
Supported riders.
Yeah, supported riders.
So huge thank you to them.
Yeah, massive thanks to them. And for my new helmet, it looks absolutely amazing. And this week's episode, we're going to cover the MotoGP at Silverstone, round 6, which were at Whilton Mill, and then we got the Roccos Ranch race event at Champions Flat Track, and then going to Spain, which we'll talk about
at the end of the episode.
At the end of the episode,
said that you're going to MotoGP, we're covering that?
Yeah.
Okay. So as we roll into episode 1, so we will rewind. We will apologise for not doing a podcast for a little while. We've been just mega busy training. It's been absolutely red hot. It's absolutely red hot in this room at the moment now. So we will backtrack to going to MotoGP, which we've not really talked about. If you want to head over to Hudson's vlog on YouTube, you can see a wicked little video that we did, that Hudson did over the weekend at MotoGP. So we kind of got invited by the FIM, British Mini Bikes, Ovale, Dorna, for Hudson, who was leading both the 110 and the 160 championship in the British Mini Bikes. He was invited down along with Wilson Dills to go to the MotoGP with full paddock pass access, VIP, job lot, shebang, which were a pretty amazing weekend. So we went down on the Thursday, is that right? Yeah,
I'm sure.
Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Met up with Wilson and Natalie's mum, who were there on that day. Really, really good day. We got a bit of access. Well, you had access to the paddock. Yeah,
it was really good. So we had these VIP passes that we got from Dorna, which were amazing. So we walked all the way through the MotoGP paddock. Met pretty much nearly all the riders. Got loads of signatures. If you might be able to see my gloves in the background on my shelf, in the middle.
I forgot about that actually. Yeah, so on that particular day, because the riders weren't riding that particular day, you kind of got decent access. So they were doing a lot of media stuff. So yeah, it was really cool. Hudson got to Bagnaia, everybody really.
Yeah, first rider I seen were Bagnaia. Then we got all his teammates. We got Marquez. We got pretty much nearly every MotoGP rider except from a few. But yeah, it was really good.
We buzzed around doing that all day, which were pretty cool. Really nice weather it were on that Thursday as well, if you can remember.
Yeah.
Then you had to go on the main stage, which was with Sam Lowes.
Yeah.
If I'm right, yeah?
Yeah.
With Sam Lowes. So you went on the stage with Sam Lowes, and you and Wilson, which were a bit of a taster to what you'd be doing on the Saturday. Hudson, they had to do an interview on stage. Pretty cool. Got to meet Sam. And then we met up with Sam again later that night. In fact, yeah, so later that evening, we met up with Sam again.
Yeah.
And they'd give you a paddock pass. Sorry, a garage tour.
Yeah, garage tour, which were really good. So went through the back of the garage, and went in through the garage, walked down this little corridor, and then we got into the garage, and there were 2 bikes sat on the benches, and it had all the weather team and everything, and all the data and everything. So it had So
Sam's bike were there, Tony Arbolino's bike were there. So it's Sam Lowes, Tony Arbolino.
Yeah.
Tony coming a bit of a whirlwind actually, messing around. So he's a bit of a joker, which was pretty cool. Sam were amazing. We're talking with met up with Anna Espeleta, I think it is Espeleta. That was really good. Met up with Alan from the British Mini Bikes. Met up with Dave from the British Mini Bikes as well. So that was kind of Thursday. Then we had weekend passes basically. So over the weekend, his mum come down, and his uncle and his cousin come down as well. So on Friday we kind of had his day to ourselves. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So on the Friday, obviously there's a lot of things going on there. There's loads of different racing. There were British Talent Cup practice days. So we're seeing Harley, Sully there, George Bowles, another rider that we know. We're seeing George and whatever not. So we're seeing so many riders over over the weekend. So that was Friday. Friday practice is obviously kind of like escalated a little bit now, especially for MotoGP. So Friday FP2.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah,
Where it
that's
starts
right.
getting a little bit hectic.
Yeah.
Really, really exciting. So really enjoyed
Enjoyed
that day. The Friday night as well, Chasing Status were on. So after all the madness of the racing, Chasing Status were on the main stage. That's right, isn't it? On the Friday, yeah.
Yeah, on the Friday.
So they were
really good.
Oops. So they were absolutely awesome. Obviously, they were his uncle, his mum, met up with Wilson. We were like raving right up front. Again, you need to go over, check the link in the description, check the vlog. Basically, that we pretty much cover that.
Yeah.
Cover that weekend in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Saturday, weather was atrocious.
Yeah.
Really bad.
We had to get his dry robes out. All those rocking out in his big dry robes.
Yeah, that were pretty cool. We kind of find a good little spot in the wing where you could go inside on the wing, which were really cool. There were like a play area for like the kids. There were a balcony area. I mean, the weather were bad in the morning, but we kind of like managed to stay out of the rain all day. Massive shout out to Wilson Dilks' dad Pete, who went and claimed a spot inside the wing. I think we were there at 9 o'clock in the morning, basically.
Yeah.
And we got there about 10 o'clock we got there, and he was already there. Claimed a massive seat for us all. We could watch it inside if we wanted to. But actually, through the day, the weather kind of lightened up a little bit, and you could actually watch it outside, and you didn't really get soaked. It was just really raining, bad in the morning, really. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Am I getting days mixed up there as well? Really?
No, it were last day.
Yeah, that was Saturday, weren't it? Yeah, that was Saturday. Saturday were terrible.
Yeah.
Sunday were all right, weren't it?
Yeah.
So that were a fantastic Saturday day. Again, we got to nip into the paddock. Hudson and Zane went up on. We kind of passed that main stage area, so there were like Monster Energy. They were doing like a stunt show stuff there at the Monster Energy stage, which is in the middle of the track. I mean, like you kind of realise that the amount of walking that you had to do at Silverstone were like unbelievable. Really, I think it were.
And the one thing was that it's like we've never been to Silverstone before. Then they've always used like the old grandstand and everything, and the old like start grid. Now they're using the big wing, which they normally use for F1.
Yeah, so it's like
so
over.
It's the first time that.
Well, every time I've been to Silverstone for the BSB, I think even for the BSB, but definitely MotoGP, it's been over. I don't know what stand what pit straight it's called, but it's the one that goes into Copses with the tunnel at the end. So MotoGP's always been there when I've been there. Kind of never even ever pondered that far into Silverstone, really.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's a video of me and Hudson. I think it was Ross's last podium at Silverstone. I think it were me and Hudson went up onto the track on the old pit straight, but we never really pondered that far in. We did go to that bridge area. I can remember them Ossets being there, if you can remember that.
Yeah.
So, but we never pondered that far. But it's so big. But yeah, they had a lot of things set up. So as we were pondering round and looking at all the activities, they had like a BT Sport simulator there, which you nailed on the reaction time thing.
Yeah.
Not BT Sport, sorry, TNT Sport. There were like loads of shops, loads of foods vendors, and the massive stage were there. Still, obviously, been there all weekend. As we pondered past, they were kind of doing a competition thing for trying to win. Well, we didn't know what you were going to win, did you? Anyway, we put your hands up. You and Zane ended up getting on stage, and you had to do a lap of Silverstone and the MotoGP 25 game.
Yeah.
And Zane and Hudson won some paddock passes for us all, which were a paddock tour, sorry.
Yeah.
So that were pretty wicked because Dan and Zane and Tony as well, they didn't have any paddock passes, so that kind of worked out absolutely mint that because they got to do a good paddock tour, which were amazing. Kind of like balanced out the weekend, really, didn't it? Because it was kind of like a super bonus that you got to do that. Saturday's racing were really good. We watched it from like the wing. Amazing watching MotoGP. Amazing watching the British Talent Cup race as well on Saturday, which were a really exciting race.
Yeah.
And then Hudson had to go on. After the British Talent Cup race, Hudson had to jump in a MotoGP, God knows what it were, like a VIP car, and we got scooted off with Anna again to the main stage again. And this time, Hudson were on stage with Jake Dixon, Sam Lowes again.
Yeah.
All the MotoGP stars were on there, so they were doing a massive auction.
Yeah.
So that were super cool.
They brought
Miles more people this time.
Yeah, it were really good, yeah. But yeah, went on stage. There were loads of people, and it were quite nerve wracking, but we just went on, and it were quite good. So they brought out like the young riders, so that's why they obviously brought us out, and then they went from like Moto 3, Moto 2.
Yeah, I think all riders were on there at
then there were some
point.
MotoGP ones.
MotoGP, they were auctioning off the stuff as well.
Yeah.
Again, with that on the Saturday night as well.
Yeah, they did 2 auctions. That were good as well. You see that in his vlog as well.
Yeah, you can see that in the vlog. So yeah, mega cool day. Then we went back to the site and come back for the Sunday. Reset on Sunday. Kind of had a few little bits and bobs that you had to do again on Sunday, but again, rinse and repeat. MotoGP, paddock access, really cool, like walking around paddock. Kind of chilled up on the wing a little bit again that time. We, Uncle Dan and Tony's mum, they had some stands. So for the MotoGP, we watched it from the VIP bit. They watched it from the stands that were wherever they were. Then we met back up again, watched the British Talent Cup race, watched the Moto 2 race. What else did we watch? Watched the Moto E race, didn't we?
Yeah, that were freaky. Like as they went past, and it was like.
Yeah, it's a real shame. Like in Hudson's vlog, we couldn't really. We got told like we couldn't really include any like footage of the bikes on track. But I can assure you, like obviously pretty amazing. You only need to go and search online to go and find out plenty of footage and watch the highlights of the race.
You forget, like when you're watching it on TV, you don't think they're that loud. But when they come past you at 100 odd mile an hour, it's absolutely crackers. They
even where that bit
straight past you, so loud.
Where we were at the pits bit, where you could see them pulling out of the pits area. I think that is a little bit on the vlog where they're just about to enter the track.
Yeah. And
like just hearing all them bikes, they all sounded pretty awesome.
Yeah. And
Talent Cup tights sounded awesome. What else were there? The Moto 2 bikes sounded mega. The electric bikes, we were impressed by electric bikes. You went and sat round where the electric bikes paddock were, which were a separate area because of like the fire risk because of the charging. They were like a 4 or 5 or 3 or 4 like firemen always on hand. They were like in a separate container bit.
Separate containers, yeah. So it had like a fence around it.
Yeah, each paddock team had like a container, and it was like a self-closing container type thing. So if there were any electrical fire to do with obviously these batteries, they could kind of like it was separated away from the like main paddock.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like crazy watching that. But like, I was like super impressed. I mean, them bikes look stunning.
Yeah, they do.
It's the first time we've seen them in person. Me and Hudson like follow a little bit of that stuff, which was really cool because we know that they've been like developed by Ducati, which were like mega awesome. Seeing loads of riders again, mixing round with stars.
Really good, yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Seeing a few people in the seeing Suze interviewing Uccio for VR46 thing for BT Sport.
Seen a lot of team managers. Seen Ducati team manager, or one of them.
You got to see he was just pondering around. So what we did find out is that somebody told us when we had these paddock passes that we had like these VIP ones. So after 3 o'clock, like you must be able to buy a paddock pass. And there's like a paddock pass that's obviously from 9 o'clock until 3 o'clock in the morning. Then 3 afternoon. And then after that, they kind of like I think you have to go out, and then you've kind of got like the passes that we had were like normal entry. So soon as that 3 o'clock, every day this happened pretty much, didn't it?
Yeah.
So after 3 o'clock, like all riders were just like pondering around like normal, just messing around on the scooter. But in the daytime, it were kind of mannequin paddock area, weren't it?
Yeah, there were a lot of people
like chasing
riders. You got somebody. I forgot. He might have been Bezecchi or something, but he were riding down on the back of somebody's on the back of the scooter, so he wouldn't have to stop. So I mean, it were a bit like awkward. Like you watch that and you think, oh god, they're getting hounded, but it kind of is. That's how it is, really. But yeah, somebody jumped out like in front of the bike. In front of him, and like they run over the foot, so it meant that they had to stop. And then all of a sudden there were a massive crowd, and then he had to sign everyone's everyone's stuff who were chasing
Like
after him.
kind of got trapped.
Yeah. Somebody tripped him up and made him stop, and then everyone just swabbed him, and he literally couldn't drive out of like this crowd that he were in.
Well, we did see that quite a lot, but
we've seen that quite a lot. But
that is how it is. I mean,
it's
the
how it is.
world famous riders.
Yeah.
So yeah, that pretty much sums up like the MotoGP weekend. Again, you need to go over to Hudson's vlogs. Just search for the HKC 217 vlog on YouTube, and you'll be able to find and watch like a little bit of a video and everything that happened there. A load of photos up there that we've put up as well, and a little bit of coverage of that. So we will roll in as we're trying to make this a quick episode, because we are literally going to Spain in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely boiling in here. The equipment's just overheated.
Yeah.
We will roll onto Whilton Mill round 6, which was a few weeks ago. Warmish weekend again, a little mixed weather.
Yeah, mixed weather, yeah.
Practice day with perfect weather, really nice. You improved on the 110 with a personal best from beating your last year's personal best. You felt comfortable on the 160 versus your previous round, which I believe were... previous round before that would have been Red Lodge, probably, weren't it?
Yeah.
So you felt really comfortable at 160. Again, sorry, we're rushing through this because we're in a bit of a time schedule here. Rolling into qualifying, went into the 160 qualifying, and unfortunately somebody crashed out with brake fluid on the track, and yourself and Daniel both come round Oblivion, and you both like low-sided off.
Yeah. You
got a lap in, but the session were red flagged. And you didn't manage to get back out, so you ended up qualifying P6 in that. Bit of a downer, but that happens.
It happens, yeah.
In 110 qualifying, we were sure it was going to rain. After a little flash shower before it, so we opted for wets, and unfortunately it didn't rain. So you pushed on, did best that you could. You were only 0.066 from pole with wets on. And I believe that Parker got pole, and they were changing their tyres, if you can remember, in qualifying.
Yeah, they were.
They were changing their tyres as we went past their owning, and they were just putting ours on, which were literally perfect.
So they missed like half of the session, and then
probably missed half of the session,
and then went back out, but it were beneficial.
Yeah, they played a blinder there.
Yeah.
So you're happy with that? Best you could do. It actually like destroyed the set of wets as well.
Yeah.
So rolling into the sprint race. 160 again. It was such a week. It was a stressful day, like on and off weather type thing. Rain, not rain, rain, not rain. Didn't know if it were going to rain. So in the 160 minute GP race, everybody were on slicks. Started from P6, got up into P4, kept position. With a few battling around you, but hung on to P4 with a group of riders behind you. On lap 9, I will click my fingers now. All of a sudden, it started to rain. And Hudson kind of was like the first rider that come across it. It come across the track from whatever direction to whatever, but it covered the boot section.
Yeah,
final corner.
It hit the boot section first. So I came round the final corner, coming into it, fast, it's dry, coming in, and all of a sudden, as I'm braking and just trail braking into it, the heavens opened, back tyres covered in water and everything. So my back end, waving on the throttle, I was coming into the corner, back end slid right out. My front were like juddering. I managed to save it and didn't high side. And then I had a massive wobble and went onto like the bumpy bits on the side of the track.
Like at Whilton Mill, there's like a little bit of a runoff on the final corner.
So
you're not actually allowed to go onto that bit. In part of racing.
Yeah, because you get a penalty.
You get a penalty for going onto there, but Hudson kind of like recovered the bike. I mean, it were an amazing save, but you didn't have enough area to turn back onto track. So I think like you probably handlebars clipped.
So yeah, I came in, and because I couldn't touch any brake. I couldn't touch my rear because I would have high sided again, or I couldn't touch my front because I would have took my front. So I just turned as much as I can, and I nearly got round. And then, like my left handlebar just clipped on the thing, and it just spat me off, and I went.
It's like it because it's like I think they are foam pads on that bit.
It's like
with tyres behind it.
It's foam with tyres behind it, and then it's got like this waterproof stuff around it. So it's like It's like a waterproof cover. Imagine that. Imagine, some waterproof trousers or something.
Like a bouncy castle, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like a bouncy
Yeah,
castle
like
rubber.
that. So obviously it gripped on it, and then it just like spat me off.
And then after that, it proceeded. I don't know how many riders. Let me just look back. Evans open on the corner. I had a massive eyesight. Recovered it. Bumped into the wall. Around this time, another rider had come off, and then multiple riders come off because everybody were on slicked, and then they red flagged the race due to weather conditions. They rolled back the result, and you finished P4. So they rolled back the result before another rider come off before you.
Yeah.
So they rolled it back like, I don't know if it was two laps.
Yeah,
a few laps.
Two or three
which
laps.
I think were right call, really. It should have probably been red flag before, but the rain did come. It comes so fast.
Yeah. It was spitting. It was spitting and spitting, and then Parker came off, and then went on, and then that's when the Evans opened.
Yeah, it were.
But yeah.
I mean, like Whilton Mill is like notoriously bad,
and
you either want it properly raining or you don't want it raining. But in between,
anywhere in the middle, that's like the worst.
So
being.
kind of like I wouldn't say a panic in between that, but the 160 race was 2 races before the 110 race. So Hudson were a little bit shaken up. I must admit, we went back to the awning. I think you hit your arm.
I got badly winded from my handlebars, and then I did my right leg.
So we went back up. It was raining at this point. We opted to put on the wets. Then we gave Hudson the decision if he wanted to race in the 110, which it were 100% Hudson's decision. We would have been happy, me and Steve, who obviously Steve helps us out, part of RD Racing. We were absolutely like content, saying you don't have to race this 110 race. If you don't feel 100%, don't race it. We were kind of, if anything, you probably might say that we're encouraging you to not race it.
Yeah, I'd say that. But yeah.
Well, we wanted to also see if you did want to race it, which you did want to race it. So we put the wets on. You had to start in P2 because that's where you qualified with the wets on before. So you actually kind of wanted it to stay wet and rain there, but this time it were drying and drying and drying. And the gamble on changing to the wets not really paid off because it didn't actually rain. You struggled. The tyres were squirming and squirming all over the place. You couldn't really keep the pace up with Parker. You were sat in P3. Is that right? Yeah, sat in P3. So I believe it would have been Parker, Kirk, and yourself.
Yeah.
And I mean, like Max. I mean, he were on it. I could see that Max was chasing you down. You weren't really 100% on form lap wise, but I mean, you just had that knock. Max were closing you down. I were telling you Max were closing you down, but it would just coming and coming and coming, and then all of a sudden, on the last lap in the boot section, Max whipped past him, which you were like kind of surprised, weren't you? But like, okay, go on, mate.
Yeah, but it were a really good move. Stuffed it up inside. It were clean and nice. Yeah,
it were a little bit behind you, probably like 1.2 behind you, but on that last final proper lap, obviously Huston's not got a pit board from when he's passed me, and then it's a checker flag. So Max kind of, I wouldn't say creeped up, but he closed up a lot. It might have been less than 1.2, but you thought you had a decent cushion as such.
Yeah.
And Max creeped up on boot section. I'm like, he's coming. I'm like, well, we can't do anything here. We're just gonna have to see if he notices that you're behind you. And you didn't really notice he was behind you. Would it have changed results? Maybe not.
Maybe not. Cause
he had the bit between his teeth, wanting to beat you, which is fair play. Do you know what I mean?
Fine. Yeah, well done. Max.
So Max got his a P4. So you finished P4 in the open class, P2 in the 110 cups. So that were kind of Saturday, like, right, Saturday's done. Hopefully Sunday's going to be better. New day, massive washout in the morning. So much of a washout that riders were falling like skittles in the morning, Sunday morning. You decided to miss the 160 warm up because there were riders and mini motor riders and 90 riders falling all over the place.
It's like an ice ring.
So we kind of missed that, purposely so. It was just like, on Whilton, it's so bad. There's like no point coming a cropper.
Yeah.
So we opted to do that. You did a lap on the 110, and it chucked it down again.
Yeah.
So you come in. So it actually were dry then again, weren't it? So it just dried.
It actually dried noticeably fast.
Yeah, it did dry fast because it was like humid, weren't it? But you did a lap on the 110, then it chucked it down. We flag you in. Obviously you're on slicks. So that were the morning warm up. In the race, so let me look. it's opposite way around now, so it's a 110 race different now. So in the 110 race, condition are cleared and we're ready for action. Starting in P4, because of where you finished in the previous race on Saturday.
Yeah.
You had a good start, took Kirk on lap 1, and you were on to Parker. Settling back into my rhythm, felt really comfortable on it, and took the lead on lap 7 with a PB of 53.6. Got away from Parker and took first in the open class and first in the All Valley 110 Cup. You really, really wanted that win.
Yeah.
After having a bit of a rough Saturday. You had it in you in that morning, didn't you? You were like, I'm going out there to win this one. Yeah, it's a new day, let's go. Which were amazing mentality.
Yeah.
Into the 160 Cup, setup still didn't really feel right. Bike was squirming a little bit all over. We were deciding whether or not to put new tyres on or not for race 1 on Saturday. We didn't really change them, did we? But kind of worked out from that race 2 on Sunday that them tyres were done.
Them tyres were done, yeah.
You couldn't really keep the pace. You come P9 in the open class and P3 in the 160 Cup. Stuck new tyres on it. After that, rolling back onto the 110 bike, starting from pole. Just pushed to get away from Parker and Kirk. Did a PB again.
PB again over 53.4, which...
And maintain your gap from Parker, basically.
Which, good race.
So you're happy with that because you got 2 wins on the 110, really, where exactly were a bit of a grim start. And in the 160 Cup, setup tweaks, felt better, grip improved. Made a decent jump in lap times, where I did a 53.9 on the 160 bike. Finished 160 in class and 3rd in the 160 Cup. But in that particular race, you actually started off steady.
I started off because I had the new tyres with these Pirellis. It's quite hard to get him like warmed up, get him scrubbed in from brand new. So I went out in the morning with them on, but that weren't enough to scrub them in. So going
I just
out,
said, didn't I, that these tyres are going to come.
They're going to come and they're going to feel
probably
amazing.
Probably about 2/3 into the race.
Yeah, so
or maybe 1/3 into the race.
Went round first lap, squirming all over. I nearly high-sided coming out of Christmas on first.
Lost a lot of positions.
Lost loads of positions, and then through the race, it was quite satisfying feeling the tyres coming back. And it just got better and better every lap. Towards the end of the race, I was pulling gaps on the people that had just overtaken me a couple of laps before. But it was really good.
So a bit of a positive end from that, especially with the lap time. And we're a big jump on the lap time in that race 3. So that pretty much concludes Whilton Mill. We're not going to go over all the results from the round because you'll be able to find them online. After that, we've been to Roccos Ranch. We've been to the Roccos Ranch race event day, which we're down at Champions Flat Track. Really good racing there. First time that you've actually raced with older lads. So you were racing with, I believe I'm going to get his name wrong here now.
Harrison
McKay, Ash Barnes, I think it was.
Ash Barnes, that's what.
And your old rival in the championship, Archer Williamson.
Yeah.
And Hudson. So obviously the other 2 lads, I think they're both in British Talent Cup.
Yeah.
So the level of racing were like a lot more. We'd already done you were like, not been down there for a while. Took a while to get back into it.
To get back into my rhythm, getting my body position better on it, and towards the end of the day, I felt really confident with my body position and sliding and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think results wise, over the 6 races in the final that they did, I think it was 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 4th, 3rd, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, and then I think finally you come 3rd, didn't you, really?
Yeah.
But on that one where you come 2nd, that was like probably the best race of the day, that, because you led that one for like 2/3 of that race.
Yeah.
In front of Harrison McKay and whatever not. Even people were like, Hudson's in the lead.
Yeah.
Like pretty epic that. And really actually like reignited us thinking like flat track, oh man.
It's really good, yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
We haven't been in a while.
We haven't been in a while, and we actually went from that day. Hudson like said to me, Dad, we need to like come back down and start doing practice nights down here, especially he run about me. So we went on that we went on the Wednesday, I think immediately after.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And again, Hudson absolutely bang on right. Like, wow, you forget that you're not being here for a while. And Hudson, that Wednesday were absolutely awesome, weren't it? For you? Probably
really
better
good.
than that the race day. Again, racing with, I think you were in with pros that one, weren't you?
Yeah.
So like, I'm not saying Hudson's old enough with pros, but the classes got split up with either like pros.
But it
rookies
weren't based on
pros,
age.
rookies, kids, weren't it?
Yeah.
Well, pros, rubbish adults, kids.
Yeah.
So on that Wednesday, and again we're going to probably do it again. Like, really enjoyed it. We come back and actually had the itch back. Like, oh man, really good going down to Champions League. Like, we start to go out and Ossets a lot more again.
Yeah.
So that was that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that. And then
tomorrow we'll go to Spain.
Yeah. Really excited for that. We're going to go, what time is it in the morning?
We're going at like 3 or 4 in the morning tomorrow. So we're going 3 days training in Spain, which is part of like building up. We've been doing a lot of, like, loads of work over the last 4 weeks probably. Going out, we've been to Lockwell, we've been down to Whilton Mill training. We're rider coach down there. And we're going out there tomorrow for 3 days. Good training, end of season training. Pro coach, really looking forward to it. Super excited.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
like, we don't need to go to Spain for weather because it's absolutely boiling here now. But it should be 3 days of intense training, so we're really looking forward to that. And we will be back with a vlog and a podcast for the next round, which is in a few weeks at Three Sisters. So yeah,
we'll see you there. I want to say thanks for watching. Go check out his channel. Just search up HKC217 on Instagram, Twitter. Well, not Twitter. Is it X now? Should I say that?
X, whatever.
YouTube and everything like that.
Yeah, check out the vlog.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe, or follow or subscribe, whatever you need to do on the podcast. I mean, the numbers have gone massively up. Go and check out the HKC217 vlog, which is obviously on his normal page anyway. Check out that MotoGP vlog. I mean, like, got some really good views on that one there.
Yeah, good
Probably
footage.
The best one.
Good footage as well. It's interesting.
So thanks for watching.
And
we'll catch you at the next one. Like and subscribe.
Bye.
See you at the next one. Bye.